Attention, all you fishes in the sea. Welcome to the Fisch Bowl with Sam Fish.
Like the reason I like film and music so much is because they go hand in hand. Not just scoring a film, but using music, rock and roll, rap, whatever,
Mhm.
in sequences in film. And I mean, because of that, because of certain directors using integral pieces of music and songs in key sequences in certain films, it's like immortalized, not just almost like more so than it just being a song on its own. Like for instance, Martin Scorsese, Layla and Goodfellas. It's like immortalized in my head. I mean, I love Layla before I saw Goodfellas, and then when I
Yeah,
saw Goodfellas and the whole sequence it's used in, it's like immortalized in my head, specifically the piano solo, the second half of the song. And again, Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction,
yeah.
Jackie Brown.
I watched recently. Ennio Morricone.
What was
The
it?
one Ennio Morricone, the one who did the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Oh
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
like he's been a composer of a lot of films, and it
Yeah.
was really interesting because it's like he made a comparison like a movie is like a human being, yeah.
Right.
Like you need the vision, you need the ears, you need different stuff, but you need a soul, and the music is the soul of.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the songs that you are inside the films. It's also about what is called the foley, you know, which is I don't know if you know what it is. I guess is all the effects as well that you need to add into the song in
Right.
order to that feeling of thriller, that feeling of horror.
Right.
Every sound adds to the film, not only the sounds, but
Right.
also the steps on the grasses. You need to represent them how they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
it's like you said as well. Like I could clearly see. It's funny because you talk about songs in films, and now that I am hearing them in my head, I can see perfectly the film as well. You know?
Exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Al Green with like introducing Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction. Like
Mm.
that song is like whenever you hear it, it's like I guess we're in Marcellus Wallace's office.
Yeah.
you know, or like the Delphonics have become like notorious, to a whole new generation, not because of the band that they were, but because of it being like a key, piece of musical, storytelling in Jackie Brown, you
Yeah.
know, Reservoir Dogs, Stuck in the Middle with You. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I was
like
talk- I was talking with Aitor actually about one film that it really, like, in terms of music, it really touched me because of that period of time that it was my dad who showed it to me, and he was like engaging a lot, and it makes me. I think at that point is when it makes me realize, oh, music is so important in film as well. And it was the film Oh Brother.
yes,
You know,
yes, definitely.
like that film is about music. With
Definitely.
with no music, there is no film. Because it's explaining the history of these people who like actually are escaping. They need to find a way how to don't get caught again, and they need to start to do this kind of band.
Right.
So
Well,
it's
they actually in that film they incorporated like a fictional version of, I guess it's a historical fictional version of Robert Johnson, who, is supposedly the guy who's responsible for spawning rock and roll.
okay.
You know, he's the one that did the original song Crossroads, with which, Clapton took and the Stones took. And there's like a whole mythology around him that Like even that show Supernatural had an episode where like it started with like the mythology behind him, and like this the story that he tells in Oh Brother, where like he met the devil and the devil taught him how to play the guitar. That's a real like mythology thing about him,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
really
like the
cool.
whole like 10 years of success, and then basically he died, and he died like 10 years on the dot when he supposedly became somewhat famous, and there's a lot of like mysticism around it, and then lo and behold, Clapton and the Stones and Zeppelin and all these like UK British invasion bands that studied all those blues artists from the 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, you know, take their music, and then holy shit, like rock and roll is born, because
Right.
of those artists.
And sometimes, like, I think about the fact as well. Like, I'm from Spain, yeah.
Hmm.
The level of how they teach music in Spain is not like the states of UK. Yeah, like Spain is true that it has a lot of rich music and really nice scene, but it's really close. It's
Mm.
inside Spanish speaking. Like there are not like, well, I would say Santana is one of the ones that, or
Definitely.
Rihanna as well. They are bands that they go like really internationally in the genres that we are talking about. But in general, I wish I was able to, for example, grow with more blues, or more
Hmm.
like all of these historical facts of how blues was developing on America. All of these like related with what you were talking about as well. To know more about all of these legends and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause for me, like I will be honest with you, I love music. I know a lot about music, but I am a late learner. Because I
Yeah.
spent my 25 first years of my life in Spain, where there is no really like, as a collective, like a big impulse for you to discover more about music. You were doing it by yourself, and you were a renegade with a group of another 10 people who were listening music in English, and everyone is like, what is this, man? Like, you know. So, I'm glad as well that I jump into UK, and that the door opened for me to, you know, okay, I'm not the only one. There is a lot of people outside that,
Right,
you know,
right.
they like this music. They like talking about music, or they are interested in all of these aspects. So yeah, thanks a lot for all of this, Sam. Honestly,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's again, one of the things I about my show is I like to bring, music collectives together, and, again, try to get promote their stuff, get, you know, uh, their music out there.
yeah, it's like a first album that we release. Like, to be honest, it's been a lot of up and downs, and we are really happy, to be honest, because maybe it's because I am the one who participate on it, but I feel this first album is exploring and touching a bit of different genres. You have one song that is more progressive, you have one that is more doom, you have
Yeah,
one that is more classic rock like Wildfire. I think it's a bit more
yeah,
catchy
yeah, yeah.
song. You have one that is more like heavy blues, like,
Right, right.
and I like the fact that with these members, with Aitor and David, who are as well the founders of Stoomfest, we allow ourselves to explore. You know,
Hmm.
we weren't like, okay, we are doing classic rock, and classic rock it is. Like, we cannot break that bubble. No, all of us, we are coming from different backgrounds. All of us listen different kind of musics, and we are from different generations as well. So the fusion of all of it, for me, is nice. I really like it.
Definitely. I mean, there's something about like different age groups that like just like you said, it's different experiences and knowledge that can all kind of contribute to a unique vision.
Mm.
And I listened to the album bef- before we started chatting, and as well as the cover of Encore the Crimson King. And with the album, I'm like I can hear exactly what you just said. Like one song is one genre, or like different genres almost like mixed together. Like I heard a lot of fuzz, a lot of like desert kind of like like doomy blues, kind of sounding vibes, then like classic rock, like you said, and just like all like the fusion of like different genres
Yeah.
of like rock kind of like put together into one. And also like not just one in each track, but each track still is like its own multitude of different genres combined, which was like really cool to hear.
Thanks, thanks a lot. And it's as well like with this album, we recorded another three songs. They are not out yet, but we recorded at the same time, so we will stick to the same sound. Let's say
Hmm.
it's funny because the other ones that they are not released, one is really blues, like actually like Aitor is playing it with, I don't know how you say in English. It's this kind, these guitars that they use for blues that they have the center made of like metal. I don't know how.
Yes, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Resonator guitar. It's called a
Right, right,
resonator.
right.
So it's a really this characteristic cranky nose of like kind of countryside American vibes, folky, bluesy. And the other song, another of the songs that we recorded is I use as on the drums like a really black metal tempos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we it's funny to be in a project that allow you to experiment. You know, it's really rewarding for us as musicians to being able to do that because I've been involved in a lot of projects where the goals were different. Maybe it was more like, no, this, like I told you, we are doing strictly doom metal, and doom metal it is.
Hmm.
And for me, like you said before, that you were mentioning a lot of genres of music, I think that's the key of music is like allow yourself to experiment with different genres that you like and try to combine them. You know,
Definitely.
so that's our attempt.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I have a couple. This is a little more of a goofy question. Since we're in the fish bowl, if you could be a fish, what fish would you be?
Oof. It's a good question. It's not a silly question. Fish, they have behaviors as well.
Right, right. I always like to say if it were me, I would be a mixture of a shark and a salmon because a shark, you have to swim with the sharks to be in business and different people trying to shark attacks every day. And then the reason I pick a salmon is because a salmon spends its whole life, swimming against the stream, you know.
I know I will be like, this, I don't know how it's called, but an abyssal fish.
What is it?
Abyssal. I don't know how it's in English. The one that has kind of the light here on top.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Because I'm now a person that is like I live a bit on the dark.
Right,
Like
right, right.
I am a bit like not socializing a lot because I'm really focusing on all different projects, but I still have here the spark of why I am doing that. So
Awesome, awesome, great answer. Awesome. Next question, I guess, is favorite current bands and favorite films, just in general.
favorite current bands. So I'm listening because of the festival. We are listening a lot of stoner, doom, heavy psych music. But something that I am listening a lot. So I am a drummer. So I normally I tend to analyze drummers when I am
Hmm.
listening to music, well, to see how they do their chops and how they play and what kind of rhythms they play. So, like you said, I listen to everything. And recently, I've been listening a lot to one band called Leprous, which is more new metalish, but their drummer, Bard Kolstad, is his name. I love it. I love it because he plays in a really like a lot of ghost notes and he's super creative with the drums that he's doing. And I've been listening recently to one band from Panama that we've been in touch with them. It's called Alpha Horse. I don't know if you
Okay.
listen. I would say is kind of a fresh sound to this stoner doom field.
Okay.
Is I would call it more like new wave doom because
Nice.
they are adding a lot of freshness into the genre. I would say it's
Okay.
really cool. Is really at the same time is a bit pop, but pop in the sense of catchy. You know
Hmm.
that is to listen and you quickly get submerged into the rhythm and stuff that they are playing. And films, let's see. Well, I can tell you much more bands, but if you want more I can give you more. But I think these two are the ones that I am listening the most right now, because as well, like, to be honest, sometimes I put like playlist that I have already and it's jumping from jazz to experimental music to doom to prog to I have there like my head is is a maze of music. And films, I'm really into horror movies.
Nice.
uh
That's my specialty.
yeah, that's nice. I always like horror and I always like folklore horror. One of the last films that I watched is The Devil's Bath.
Okay.
It was okay. I enjoy it. But if it's more about favorite films in this horror, I would say 100% horror. Babadook. I really like Babadook.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch it,
I,
but
I have I have seen that one. I know that one. Yeah.
and I think it's because of in which kind of moment I watched it. I was completely alone at home, and it really gave me tension. And one of my favorite films always is out of the horror, but is The Fifth Element.
That's a great movie.
I just love it, and it's because I grow with that film. I remember it was one of the first science fiction movies that I watched, being conscious about that this is science fiction and being conscious of what you can create out of
I
imagination.
I remember seeing that in theaters with my dad. And again, my dad, big influence. And I remember like old enough to like E News was like really big, in the 90s. And they'd have like all like the behind the scenes coverage. It was before like all of these like sites that are like on Facebook, like Joe Blow and, Bloody Disgusting and,
Yeah.
like all that stuff that covers all this stuff now. And, you know, like the key insider and Luke Besson, who's the writer and director of that film, talked about how he actually started writing that when I think he was like 15 or 16 years old.
I
Um,
think you can see it. You can see
yeah,
that spirit inside the film because he's
Yeah,
so creative, he's so imaginative. He's like, like if the plot is a normal plot that I think you
right,
will see in any kind of film, like you need to get something and there is a girl who is helping but a guy, and at the end everything happy and they recover the thing that they need to don't destroy the planet and good. But it's more about the visuals as well. It's about all the costumography,
right.
the for me the part of the opera singer.
Yes,
It was
yes,
so impressive. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
yeah.
And yeah, I think it's all, like you say, all the world that they create around.
And
Uh,
another thing I heard about interesting trivia about that film is especially comments on what you were just saying, what you like about it with the visuals. Luke Besson, when he was going into pre-production for it, and they were coming up with like the whole kind of look for everything, he specifically said every space movie that has like come out up until that point, everything is like dark. It's all kind of darkly lit. It's all, like the tone is dark,
Blade
it's
Runner vibes, everything, right?
exactly alien vibes, all the films were like, very bleak and bland, and it was like just a depressing mood, and he said one thing I want to right off the bat is everything to be bright, and stand out, and because like why does space have to be, so gloomy and dark? It's like
Exactly.
imaginative, so
Yeah.
that was a big thing. He's one of my I've followed him actually since The Professional. Great movie with young Natalie Portman and Jean Reno. And then he did The Fifth Element, both with Gary Oldman as villains.
Yeah.
And then he, went on to kind of like transition into doing like action movies, and he's the guy responsible for like basically all the Transporter movies and the Taken movies, you
Yeah.
know. So he's a big person in
And,
cinema
and
I've been following.
and for me, it's something that I want to address, like music. Yeah.
Hmm.
If you go back to this generation, yeah, of the 90s, 80s films,
Right,
uh, early 2000s as well.
right, right.
I don't know how to say, but there is something in these kind of films. It doesn't matter if it's science fiction or if it's thriller or horror or even love or even adventure. They were made in a different way. They
Yes,
were, you could see the directors and the team or people involved is like, okay, here is my soul. You cannot see it, but I am taking a small piece and throwing it into this project.
exactly.
And it happens with, for example, from Dusk Till Dawn that you have over there.
Yes,
It
yes.
happens with Tarantino
Evil
movies.
Dead right there, you
Yeah,
know.
it happens to a lot of films that there is love on it. There
Right,
is passion, and they need to create all of these special effects without technology. You know,
right.
For
But
me, it's incredible.
it's
Is
like it's like the same thing has happened with film with music.
Yeah,
It's all about cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Not about art, not about, it's not meant to be about what can you make back at the box office, or what can you make back from the streamers and the people buying the physical media content. It's about, I believe it was actually Frank Zappa, to bring him up again, that said, I forget what the exact quote was, but he basically said, the newer generation of music producers are worse than the old generation, because the new people and what it's kind of evolved into, this was back in the 80s, what was like, they think that they know what people want to hear,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and the Joe Schmoes that took chances on all the bands like him and that were so big in the 60s and 70s and even going back to the 50s was because these guys didn't know anything about music. They didn't know what a trend was. It was just like, yeah, screw it, I'll take a chance on you. You know, what,
Yeah,
what's the worst that can happen? And because of that, you had all these like amazing bands come out
yeah,
that formed, essentially the first, iteration of like what really rock and roll is,
yeah. I
like with
feel
all the classic rock.
there were more opportunities in that sense, like you said, when now it's all based on. It's sad but true. But if you want to go to a professional booker or someone that it has a bit of power in the music industry, they just want to see your streaming numbers, how
Right,
much impact you have in social media. I'm not saying everyone, yeah,
right,
but
right.
this is the role model that a lot of people are following now.
I
You
know.
know, and
It's happening in the horror genre as well. I mean, there's been a
inevitable
few.
as a festival we also do it because, like we said, at the end of the day it's a business, so we
Right.
need to follow these trends as well. But we also look at, okay, this band has really good numbers, they have good amount of listeners in London, let's bring them. But at the same time there are bands, we do a mix, yeah, because
Hmm.
like we love music, but it's a business, there must be a
Right.
balance.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's not one thing up, the other one down. I think it's quite equal because we also bring bands that a lot of people don't know, and we give the opportunity for them to explore these new bands that maybe they don't have a lot of listeners. And you know, consistently for the last 2 years, it's been happening with us that we brought at least two bands that nobody really heard about them, and they are blow away the whole public. Like, okay, these guys, incredible. And going back to the sorry going back to the topic
Sure.
that we were talking
Yeah.
about, music and film, that we could see this trend as well is hopefully it's going to come back as well, because I guess much more than me in film industry, but I can also see little gems of films that and directors that they are coming, like the guy who did Hereditary. A lot of, thanks to technology, there is a lot of new directors that they don't need that many resources to be creative and do
Right.
nice, you know but of course, like in music, there is so many films out there that they deserve more visibility, but just because they are independent and they
Exactly.
are not gonna
Exactly.
generate, they are not triple A, they are not gonna generate the money that people want.
Right.
They not have the repercussion that they need sometimes. And I guess
Yeah.
we can talk much more about all of this because me,
It's definitely in the same territory. The difference, I guess I should say, even though there's still a lot of like, balance, even ground in what I'm about to say, it's probably a little easier to make an album now. The difficult part is to get the distribution and the touring, to get the live play out there.
yeah,
It's way more difficult to get a film made, whether it's indie or a major production, because again, it's all about that. And also there's like with music, it's like in putting together an album, it's like that's essentially all it is like, the music and recording and the instruments and stuff like that and the vocals and all that. With film, it's like like you mentioned earlier, it's like a living, organism where you have to have like enough people in the crew before you even get to the actors, and then you have to feed people, and you have to give them compensation if you can't pay them, and
yeah, I think
it's
it's
just like,
a industry as well. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's it's an everlasting fighting struggle for the starving artist, you
Yeah,
know.
I have friends here in London. They work in the film industry in different fields. Some of them are director of photography, and other ones are focus puller, and they do different roles. And they've been working in big and small projects. And it's exactly what you said. Like it's a metaphor, like for art in general. You
Yeah,
know, it's funny that things that in theory people are doing more out of love is more difficult to, you know, to develop them, or it's more difficult to put money on it, or you struggle a bit more in order to get where you want to get.
right.
And I know people with amazing ideas, but like you said, they need to feed the crew, they need to get the equipment, they need to, and it's not easy. But I must say, the most important thing for everyone who will listen to your podcast is starting as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
People cannot put as well, like we live in an era that you as well can take an iPhone, record a film, you know. You have tutorials in YouTube as well to know how to edit, know how to do things. Okay, it's not gonna be a triple A film, but it's a starting point. You know,
Exactly.
is what I am repeating to myself with music and creating this festival. That I've been tired of saying to myself, no, I cannot start to do this because I don't have this. So I am not prepared to do this because I really need to first learn this. Starting is the key, you know, and keep going and pushing.
Definitely, definitely. And I mean, one thing I just gonna throw it out there because if you don't throw the fish line out there, you never know if you're gonna get a bite.
Yeah.
But I love to, since we both have like kind of the same kind of like mutual message and promotion for bands and stuff. I'd love to talk to you further in like a separate meeting or whatever, non-interview thing about, ways maybe we can cross promote or something, for the future festivals and stuff like
100%.
that. And
Yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah.
possibly even like co-arrange a totally separate festival or something,
Yeah,
which would be awesome. So,
that's something that, for example, we want to do as well. Is like, you know, create something. We wanted to do something that interview musicians, but from not the musician persona, from
mhm,
the human persona of that musician, you know. And I
definitely.
think it's, like you said, it's really important to say that, yeah, these people now is playing in front of 700 people, but this person as well is working in a bar putting pints 9 to 5, or
Right,
working like 60 hours per week in order to be do that, because there is so many things in the music industry that needs to change, you know.
right, right.
Is I think it's important that you bring this kind of people, and for sure we can as well like put you in touch with different artists, you know, from the scene, that they will be happy
That
to talk about their personal experience.
that's actually the similar to my final question, but which was, I'll just say it now and then I'll ask you the other question. But I always my new thing on the end of the show is I like to say, if you could suggest three guests to come on the show, who would it be, or who would they be?
Industry
It could be within the music or film industry, someone that you think would be like, I cover horror, music, entertainment. There's so much that kind of falls under that, not just like the musicians themselves, but, if there's like a sound person that has worked with, how many people or whatever,
I
but just, three guests that you think would be like a good fit, and then any other, possible connections down the road, I would
uh,
totally, totally love to have on the show as well.
one, it would be Charlie. Charlie is the owner of two legendary music venues here in London. One is called Blondies.
Okay.
One of them is like 50 people capacity, is a shoebox, but massive bands were playing there, like really really big bands. Like I cannot find it right now, man. But
That's all right. That already sounds like a great,
it
a really
is
great guess.
it's like a birthplace for a lot of bands. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that iconic that it's been there forever. They've been co-working as well with really big bands that they can fill up stadiums, but they decided to do a gig there for 50 sweaty people. You know what I mean? Recently opening a new warehouse brewery that is Blondies as well. It's the same name, and I think it's good to get the insights as well of from his perspective. You know that he has
Definitely.
two business, bringing legendary bands, and even though this is happening, there is also struggle. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
He's a business owner and he needs to feed family and feed people and take care of himself, and to see that people who are really passionate about it, they are still trying. So I can send you that contact.
That would be
100%.
awesome.
Another person, I would say bands like Slomosa,
Oh, I love them.
guys that they are really kicking off really well. I think they are doing really, really well. Really nice people as well. Really, really nice people. It would be interesting to analyze how they are feeling so far of their how fast they are growing basically.
Right, right. I follow them. They are great.
If I need to say another person, it would be probably another band. I'm thinking about it because I want to give you the perspective of smaller bands as well. So
Yeah, yeah.
think a band like, let's say, it could be from our lineup, but I prefer someone that is not,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to expand a bit. Let me think, and I give me 2 minutes, and I will get back to it. I need to really think
Okay, okay.
in person.
Let me hit you with one of the prior questions I had, closing ones, in terms of Stoomfest. Where can people buy tickets, follow you on social media, find a venue, where like all the information about the festival and everything?
Yeah, so we have our main website, which is stoomfest.com. We are DIY. Ticket system is our own plugin because we don't want third companies to take cuts. All the merch is going for the bands. We don't take a cut as well, which is something that we are trying to change. They can find us as well in Instagram. They can find us in Facebook. And so far, these are the three main platforms that we are using. We are really proactive. We reply as fast as possible to every mail and everything. And we are friendly. People can approach to us. We don't bite. We are not, we are nice people who wants to really develop the music as it is and the underground music, and like we were talking during the whole podcast, like give
Right.
a bit of breathe again to this new era that we feel is growing basically.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And Sleeping Mountain, where can people listen to your music and the new album and any tour dates going on with that, stuff like that?
It's available in every streaming platform, I would say. We are in Bandcamp, we are in Spotify, we are in Apple Music, we are in Deezer as well. They can listen to us in YouTube Music as well, and we upload there the whole album if people want to listen. And tour dates, we are really happy to start our first tour, which is gonna be in September with one band from Spain that it's been playing already at Stoomfest, the second edition. Wet Cactus.
Yes, I know
Really,
them.
really nice stoner bands, heavy psych, really cool people, and really nice musicians as well. And we are gonna be doing a total of 6 to 7 gigs around UK, in main cities of UK: London, Bristol, Brighton. What else we are playing? Oxford, I think we are playing as well. We are playing in Birmingham as well, like major cities basically. Yeah, they can find us in Instagram. They can find us as well in Facebook. And we have our own website, which is sleepingmountain.band. And yeah, there we have absolutely everything. The same open people, the same people of Stoomfest. We are the same people. And yeah, we are really happy to see where the band goes as well. We have a lot of hope on this new project. Let's see.
Awesome. Awesome. And just to circle back, any, if not, we got two.
Yeah, I have one person. He's another promoter from Manchester,
Okay.
uh, who is doing Revolution Festival, which is exactly the same kind of music of what we do. And unfortunately, they couldn't continue this year because emergent festivals, DIY festivals, are not really well supported,
Hmm.
or it's difficult for us to grow. Is like, sometimes you need more help, and it would be nice to see from his perspective why it didn't work, and what things needs to change in order to make these things working, for
Yeah.
people really trying. Because at the end of the day, like I told you, we are a team of people who are working 9 to 5 in regular jobs, and they are doing this out of passion and putting their love, money, and time into that because
Hmm.
they believe in it. But
Right.
all of us as well, we have limits. If the glass is too full, sometimes you need to move on, and we would not like to do that with this industry. For me or any of my partners that they are also working in this field of DIY festivals. There is actually a friend that he's doing a more math rock, progressive, alternative music festival, and they've been running festivals for 12 years. This year was their last year because they couldn't anymore. And it's sad to see as well that people who are doing it out of love and because they believe in this music to grow and or be maybe the new era of musicians, they cannot fulfill their dreams because, and it's people who are not chasing money like we were talking. It's people who really like
Right.
are doing it out of passion. Yeah, maybe people to see more that behind these people or these projects is human beings who want the best for the community, basically. you know
Definitely. Alexis, it has been a pleasure talking with
It's-
you. I wish you the best, and with the
thank
festival
you.
coming up, hope praying it's a even bigger turnout, and we can continue to do this type of thing. And I'm definitely looking forward to staying in touch and talking about how we can help cross
Nice.
promote.
At any point you jump the pond, come over to Stoomfest or any of the Sleepy Mountain gig, or maybe one day we will play around America and we can catch
Yeah,
up.
yeah. That's actually what I was hoping is we can get a Stoomfest in the States because there are so many amazing, amazing bands, not just in the UK but the EU, and it's a damn shame that you guys get to have all the the great music bands and stuff, and it's like almost impossible to get you know bands unless they're of like certain mainstream status,
Yeah,
to cross, from the UK or wherever to the States. So,
yeah,
uh,
and happened to us as well. Like there are a few bands that we want to bring over from there that they are spectacular and they do really nice quality music, and And just because of what we were talking, because everything is DIY, we cannot
Right.
some afford that quantities of money,
Right.
because you
Right.
pay flights, for example, which is
Exactly.
really expensive, and their cachet, which is more than respectable to pay depending on how long they've been playing. But yeah, I wish governments as well could more co-work together for,
Yes.
at the end of the day, music is culture. They should promote and put more money in all of these projects, not only music but also like in film industry, like you say, any form of art.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, Alexis, thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank
swim in
you.
the bowl with me.
Yes.
I hope the temperature was just right.
It was perfect, and I'm gonna send you over as well these contacts to see if you
Awesome.
can organize something with them. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. I appreciate it.
Amazing.
And I look forward to staying in touch and t- seeing how we can help each other out and cross promote and all that and
Yes,
spread
perfect.
the message of, music and rock and roll.
Amazing. See you, Sam. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Hey there, all my fishes in the sea. Thanks for tuning into today's episode and for being a subscriber. Your continued listenership and support means the most and helps keep the show growing to deeper and deeper depths. I want to let all my guppies in the sea know the Fisch Bowl has now officially partnered with FastCustomShirts.com, where they're now selling custom Fisch Bowl t-shirts under their podcast and website section. Every t shirt that's purchased helps and goes a long way to keep the show growing to deeper and deeper and higher depths. I also now have custom hats, beanies, handbags, pens, mouse pads, everything to make you look like the coolest looking fish in the sea, which you can DM me directly on Instagram at the Fishbowl88 or on Facebook at just the Fishbowl, or you can friend request me, Sam Fish, directly and get yours today. Your continued listenership and support again means the most. It's the most important fishes that flock together. We are a school of fish and we keep the unit going. Let's all keep swimming upstream.